Welcome back to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a really profound question. What's the ultimate offering? We're going to dig into the ancient text of Micah, chapter 6, to uncover the huge difference between just being a spectator and being a true participant in our own lives.
All right, let's kick things off with a simple question for you. When you go to an event, could be a concert, a game, a religious service, are you just kind of watching from the sidelines, or are you really a part of what's happening? Because there's a world of difference between the two.
Think about it like this, a choir. If you're in the audience, you hear this beautiful music, you feel moved, and it's a great experience for sure. But for the singers, it's completely different. They've rehearsed for hours, they've poured themselves into the music, they're actively creating that moment. For them, it's not just a performance, it's an offering. They're in it, and that changes everything.
So here's the path we're going to take today. We'll start with this universal search for a meaningful offering. Then we'll uncover a really important clue that's hidden in memory. From there, we'll get to the surprising answer, see how that answer can become part of our very soul, and finally, bring it all home to our everyday lives.
Okay, let's dive right in. So, this ancient text from Micah, it starts with a question people have been wrestling with for literally thousands of years. How do we approach something that's bigger than ourselves? What's the right thing to give?
So the prophet Micah basically asked this question. It kind of frames the whole relationship, like a transaction, right? I want to show respect. I want to connect. So what currency do I use? What physical thing can I bring to prove I'm sincere?
And right away, the text just spirals into these increasingly wild suggestions. It starts off reasonably enough for that time, a valuable young calf. Okay, but then it's like, is that enough? How about thousands of rams? Or, get this, rivers of olive oil, a massive, massive display of wealth. And then it escalates to the absolute unthinkable, offering your own child. You see where this is going, right? This whole escalation, it's a huge clue. It's designed to make you stop and think, wait a minute, maybe none of these are the right answer. Maybe the entire idea of trying to buy favor with a physical thing is just completely missing the point.
So before we get the real answer, the text gives us a crucial first step. And it has absolutely nothing to do with giving a gift.
Instead of looking around for something to bring forward, the people are told to look backward. They're told to stop searching for an object and start searching their own history, their own experience.
And it's specific. They're told to remember these key moments of deliverance and salvation from their past, times they were freed from slavery, times they were guided to safety. And that right there is our first major clue. The real foundation for a true offering, it isn't something you own, it's a perspective you have. We can call this a grace-filled memory. And this isn't just, getting nostalgic for the good old days. It's way more active than that. It's the deliberate act of recalling these moments of help to fundamentally change how you see the world and how you act right now. It's the real starting point.
Okay, so this all builds to the big reveal, the real answer. After all that talk about extravagant gifts and this instruction to remember, what is the ultimate offering? What's the answer? Well, the answer is almost shockingly simple, and it has absolutely nothing to do with calves or oil or any of that stuff. It all boils down to three core principles for how a person should live their life. And here it is, the core of the whole thing. The text says, look, you've already been shown what's good. What's required is to act justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly. The answer isn't a thing you carry in your hands. It's a life you lead. It's about who you are, not what you have.
But this brings up a really fascinating question about memory. If remembering is the foundation for all this, what happens when our conscious minds start to fail us? Well, an incredible true story shows us that some things can be remembered on a level far deeper than just our thoughts. I want to tell you about Marta Saldana. In her 90s, she was living with Alzheimer's disease, and it had taken away many of her day-to-day memories. But back in her youth, Marta was a prima ballerina. She was famous for performing in Tchaikovsky's Swan Lake. So one day, someone played her the music from Swan Lake. And even though her mind couldn't consciously remember the steps or even her own career, something absolutely incredible happened. Her mind might have forgotten, but her body remembered. From her wheelchair, her arms just started to instinctively flow through these graceful, elegant movements she had performed hundreds, maybe thousands of times decades earlier.
There's actually a term for this, embodied memory. It's this idea that memory can exist beyond just our brain. Through countless hours of practice and repetition, a way of being gets ingrained in your very muscles, in your soul. It becomes a part of who you are on a level that's deeper than thought itself.
So, this brings us right back to the central idea, the big takeaway for all of us. Just like a ballerina can embody a dance through endless repetition, how do we embody a life of justice, mercy, and humility? How do we make these things our instinctive response? See, the real offering, the one that truly matters, isn't something you just whip up for an hour on a Sunday. It's the result of your preparation from Monday through Saturday. By repeatedly choosing to act with justice, to show mercy, and to walk with humility, you are in effect practicing. You're creating an embodied memory of a life well lived.
So in the end, the whole question just flips on its head. It's no longer, what physical gift am I going to bring? Instead, it becomes a much more personal and a much more challenging question to carry with you. My life, this week, that's my offering. So what's it going to look like?